I'm calling this Reanimation Personified. Our personal future here on this planet lasts exactly as long as we do. It's hard for us not to expect tomorrow to dawn, for the sun to come up. Although one day, for each of us, that won't be the case. Projecting is such a part of our life that I'm not even sure how we begin to deconstruct that habit. Paying it forward, as they say, has always been the name of the game, as far as I know, ever since I was young. Since we obviously cannot go on forever in this life, how and when do we begin to throttle back? As long as we live, we have to pay the rent, and we have to take that next breath. So counting on our immediate future to be there is pretty much all that we know. As the great Lama Bokhar Rinpoche said to me when we left his monastery in Mirik, West Bengal, India, in 1997, he said, and I quote, "Tomorrow or next life, whichever comes first," end quote. As it turned out, he left this world not long after that. When things are going well, we can't help but cultivate, our life, the garden of life, planting seeds, getting projects going, watching them grow, and so on. When things threaten to end, to come to an end, and time seems to run out, of course, all of that, as the old saying goes, it seems like we have been busy rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, and everything looks so silly. And life for those of us who are aging is without a doubt a catch-22. On the one hand, keeping up with the Joneses, just the rush of life all around us, paying it forward, while at the same time recognizing, or beginning to recognize, that our future is short. It could end at any time. I guess the future always ends at, quote, any time. But with age, that any time can't be that far away. Now, I don't call these comments I'm making complaining, but I consider it rather examining, just what is the reality for me, for you. And I don't want to dwell on it, but I am by definition dwelling in it. I'm in it. I'm in the end stage. I have stopped starting any new, grand projects, and have worked pretty diligently on packing it in, closing up shop and taking care of what must be cared for. And I believe that's as it should be. If I have, through aging, sidestepped just a bit out of the rush of the mainstream, and I now find myself in somewhat of a more quiet realm, a little more quiet eddy, I think that's appropriate for an elder. You can't expect me to get as excited about the future as I used to. I mean, retirement itself, I'm retired now. Retirement is a statement of what I'm describing here. We retire, we step back. And if we wind things up suddenly, it's happening very quickly, what is important to us? I'm not sure that I know, but I instantly know what's unimportant, and that is almost everything. When push comes to shove, I tend to shed attachments rapidly. Now, I can't probably remember the full story, but when I think it was a time when my teacher, the Venerable Khenpo Kato Rinpoche, was teaching us, and we were talking about all the stories of spirits hanging out around their own dead bodies, trying to contact their relatives, not being sure that they were dead, and all of that. This is just pretty much standard fair for discussion if we get to that topic. And if I remember right, Rinpoche said something to the effect that at a certain point in this death and dying and bardo process, the person who has died is no longer concerned whatsoever with the life they just left, but rather they're concerned with the life that they're about to be reborn in. In other words, they've already moved on and already have other fish to fry. I'm not sure why that particular comment affected me and why it stuck in my mind as it has. Perhaps it's because it underlines that our journey here does not end at death. The same desire we have to incarnate that has got us to where we are now, it also is propelled forward after death to rebirth, where we create an entirely new self. A new self, in completely different circumstances, is assembled around whatever remaining desires still move us. And I call that like reanimation personified.